Happy Wednesday, all! Thanks for joining me for a craft night with friends. My name is Alyssa from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners. And I'm here every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So we started the letter S, which is the seahorse, last night, and we got the whole entire outline done. So that was a great start to this. I think we might actually finish the actual seahorse tonight, and then we'll just start working on the letters. So we'll be done early this week, I think, which means we could most likely quilt at the end of the week. That is the plan. So, all right, let's get stitching on this guy tonight. All right, everyone. Oh, hey, Cassie. Cassie says she missed yesterday. We got started on this. Hey, Adrian. Thanks for popping in. All right. So we, just to recap, we got going on the seahorse here, and we're actually mixing colors. I don't know if you can tell. It's super subtle, but I think it's just like a fun little thing to do sometimes. We did 2 strands of this brown, or the like teddy bear brown, and then we did 1 strand of this goldenrod color. So we have a little mix of those colors, and we're going to continue that through the rest of this. Hey, Kathy. So I'm going to, we decided that we do it this dark blue. We're going to start with these little lines tonight, I think. So dark blue. This is actually called Scuba Dive, which is fitting for this piece, I think. And then I think mentioned green. We really only have, without starting a whole new skein, we really only have this much green. But I'm just kind of looking at this. I have this gray that we have a ton of, and actually, I think that would be really pretty with the blue. And we really don't. I mean, we could actually pick something that we already have too from here. Oh, we got lots of other greens from here. Let's look at what we got hiding in here first. So here's that super pale kind of green. That'd be pretty. But I think we talked about maybe doing this dark green because it was similar to the blue. Ooh, and this is a nice long piece. Okay, I think we're gonna do this. We'll do the dark green and the blue. And man, you guys, I gotta take this jean jacket off. It is warm. We had like 7-degree day today, but what was crazy is you couldn't even hardly go outside because it was so windy. And the leaves are just blowing everywhere like mad. So it's a little, I can't really enjoy it all that much. All right, this is like a way bigger piece than we probably need, but I'm just gonna cut it the size of this green. And then, you know, the rest of this blue, if there's extra, we'll put it in our little scrappy cloud of floss. But there, minimize that for quite a bit there. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 strands of the blue and 1 strand of the green. I'm a little worried that all that wind and all the leaves is just gonna floof up like all the allergy stuff, and I don't know. I'm hoping John and I feel okay tomorrow. But yeah, it was crazy, crazy windy. Also garbage day, so I'm a little afraid that the garbages are all gonna blow over. We'll see. Okay, let's get stitching. So again, we're doing his little belly lines. I did not have time to redo my nails today. I'll probably a weekend job again. They are not quite lasting me the 3 weeks, but dang, it's so much nicer than having to do it every other day. So still dip powder for the win, still over just the normal lacquer. All right, let's weave this in. We'll start from the bottom and go up. And these are just gonna be more little back stitches. One, two. The green's a little shorter, so that's why those little blue ends are sticking out, but I'll trim those before we start, just so I don't have the little loofs to worry about coming to the front. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to just jump up to the next bit, I think, even though you'll be able to see that little jump, but oh god, maybe I won't. Should we get real picky on this? So I could, here, I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a sec. Once I get this next one stitched. Ooh, this green in here, though, is pretty. It's very underwatery. So I could jump up to here and just start, but you would see. Oh, that's not that bad. But if I hold it up to the light, you can kind of see that jump. I could weave into the backs and weave in the backs here and then start there again. But actually, now that I'm seeing it, I don't think it's that bad. I'm gonna just keep going. We're gonna keep those little jumps in. Where I don't like to do that jump is like across the eyes, because I think, you look at the face of a character probably more than anything, and if you saw like a big black bar from behind, behind the fabric, I think that'd be more visible or more obvious. So there I won't do that, but down here I think it looks fine. Oh, hey, Robin. Nice. You'd pop in. All right. Hop up here again so you'll see a little bit of that line, but who cares? I think we're good still. I think this is looking good with the browns. I think that's kind of fun. Oh, thanks, Robin. Yeah, I like how this guy's turning out so far. Oh, Cassie says I started an Instagram for my crochet projects. Ooh, that's exciting. Let us know what it is. That's fabulous. It's just a nice record. I'm seeing, like, my mom started like a private Pinterest board, just for her. And she's just been posting pics of things that she finishes, and it's just a really nice record to have a visual like conglomeration of that somewhere. So that's kind of cool. So that'll be neat that's kind of what your Instagram sounds like it'll be. Ooh, it's Kate's CAITS.crochet with 2 T's. Fun. I'll have to check that out when we're done here. Almost done with his little belly already. We're definitely at that halfway point. I'm glad we added this extra little element of, adding the different color thread in, because this guy was pretty simple, and we haven't done anything crazy with him like some of the other pieces where we add piles of stitches or just change it. So just this one little addition adds just a little bit more texture and a little bit more interest. So I like it. All right, 2 more little guys, and then we are good. I think I'll do the eyes next, because then we'll have kind of all the back stitching done. I kind of like doing, whatever I can, especially if it's back stitching on a piece before I jump into the French knots, because I don't want my thread, my loops to accidentally catch on the French knots. I'm gonna go like a forward stitch here, I think. Easier. Okay, last little bit. I think he's just gonna get 2 back stitches. There we go. Looking cute. I really like how this blue turned out. It's bright, but it's kind of more subdued than I thought. It kind of melds with this brown, I think, a little bit. It just feels right with the brown. All right. And then the rest of that I will put in our little cloud of excess floss. All right. I feel like I lost the rest of the blue floss. Disappeared to the floor or something. All right. Next up, it's probably attached to me. Oh yeah, there it is. Attached to me. All right, let's do the eyes. So we'll do those in black. Let's see what I got for black in here yet. Okay, that guy might be enough to do this. And then this, oh, this is just like 2 strands, so we'd have to make that 3 strands. Oh, here's a little black strand hanging out. I don't think we'll need this. We'll use that other piece first, but there's a 3rd strand if we need it. So that's what's in the cloud. Oop, the cloud here for black. But I think we'll get it with this. Okay, there's 3 strands. Just checking. So I think I'm gonna weave into the backs of these stitches here, and then just jump and do the eye. And then I'll weave in the back, and then this eye I will do separate as its own little island of stitches, just again so I don't see that jump from here to there. I'm just not gonna do that jump. But this one, this little jump from his side of his head to this eye, I don't think is like, I don't think you're gonna see that. All right. So I like doing little hexagon shape. Sometimes, the hexagon can either have the points at the side and be flat, or the points can be on, or the flat parts could be on the side and then it's pointy at the bottom. I kind of don't know how I normally do that. I think it's just however it works out, like, or however I start stitching. So it looks, this time I'm doing like the points on the side. Actually, this feels right. This feels like how I normally do it. So I do the pointy, like they point out on the side of the eye and then they're flat on the top and bottom. Yeah, this feels right. But you could do it, where it's rotated a little bit like that, and where it's pointy on the bottom and flat on the sides, and I think that would be just fine too. But I always like to do a little hexagon versus just like a diamond, because a diamond, with if you just went, 4 sides, I mean, it looks like you could do that just fine, and the stitches would be like normal size and stuff, but I don't know, it doesn't quite get that round feel, so that's why I do a hexagon. I think that kind of does the job. Job of making it look circular. All right, one little baby eye. All snip that. So that's the first eye. I have, I think, just enough to do the second eye. So I'm going to do this where I let that little piece dangle out again, kind of how we did earlier. So this is going to be enough to do the last stitch plus weave in the end. And for like little bits like this, I find this a quick and easy way to not fuss with the thread. Ooh, we're gonna make you shorter right away. Ugh, we're gonna have just enough floss for this, I think. All right. So now that's kind of locked in there, and we can just continue like his little laser eyes. We'll have to cut new thread after this for eyes. And actually, I think we've used up all the black too. So I'm gonna have to get a whole new skein of black, and I don't think I have any of that up here. So good thing we had enough tonight. Actually, is this black? Oh yeah, good. I do have. I'm gonna do that right now before I forget, because we will need black for the other eyes. I kind of got. Let's just take all this out. I got my little cup here with random skeins that I just kind of grab for when I'm doing photos and stuff. But I didn't think there was black, but I see a couple hiding in here. There we go. I'm gonna just stick this in my strawberry tray next to me here, and then it'll be on call for the next designs when we need black eyeballs yet. Because that other little scrappy piece, that ain't gonna do much. So, all right, let's get it back in here. There we go. Good. I'm glad I took care of that. I have to do everything at the moment I think of it these days, otherwise it goes away. Oh, Lynn says I made bias tape today, and now I'm sewing it onto the binding to my grandma's 1930s quilt. This will take a while. Oh, but that's my favorite part. It does take a while doing all that binding, but how fun. It's gonna look so clean and fresh after doing that too. And I love the patches you did for that. That just turned out so cute, the little heart appliques. Oh yeah, Robin saying I really need to sit down and do some sewing and embroidery. Summers are always so busy, but now that winter is coming, I can sew again. I know, it just kind of seems like I've been hearing that a lot lately, actually, that like people are just starting to take up the crafts again and try new crafts and just relaxing and chilling and crafting again, which is just kind of fun. It's that season. All right, so I'm just weaving in this end, and then we got to get that one from the front. I think that black thread is done for. All right, so I'm going to thread that little laser eyeball that we let hang out here. And I'm going to finish that last stitch, which will bring my needle to the back. There we are, and now I can weave that in as well. And I've basically isolated this eye all by itself. So you don't see like a jump. Like this is what I was trying to avoid. Like if I had jumped right from the, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm trying to hold it up to the light. But if I jumped right from one eye to the other, we'd have like a big black line behind his eyeballs. And since it is the eyes, and you look at the eyes of a piece of like a character, I don't want you to see that big black bar behind. All right. We are done with all the back stitching. I still don't know what we'll do for the S's yet, so we'll have to figure that out. But this stuff is done. All right, so what do we do for his little dots on the back? I'm kind of like leaning towards greens. In the original we did yellow. Here's the original. This is so like baby cute. Actually, the yellow is kind of cute. I like the yellow with this light blue, but I like the way that the direction that we're going to. So we did orange here, but I kind of like the idea of greens. Like maybe we can do this pale green What if we do that pale green and this yellow? Oh, that's not a lot. Let's see. Oh gosh, these are little. This is hardly a piece. I'm going to throw that one out. All right, I guess we don't have any of that. We could do green and that same dark green color. All these other ones we've kind of done really close in like value. Like these were both dark and these were both kind of medium and this is kind of a light. So I don't know. I kind of want another light color. I have this oh, I think I just tied it in a knot. I have this fawn color. That actually looks pretty good with the green, as far as like the same value, like lights and darks. And it's, since this is kind of a brownish color, it kind of fits back with the brown. I think I'm going to do this before I tied it in a knot. And we have enough of it here, which is fabulous. So let's see, how long is this? I'm hoping this should be long enough to do all these French knots, I'm thinking. All right, so let's, well, I guess before I trim this fawn color down, let's just take one strand out of there, because then I'm only cutting the one down and the other two can stay long. So those two can go back in the little cloud of floss. And how many are here? 3. Okay, so I'm going to take one from here. We'll do 2 of the green and 1 of the fawn. And we just need to trim that down. I'll thread it from this side, then I can have a nice clean cut. All right, and I think this guy's short enough that I think we'll just get rid of him. I won't put him back in the cloud. Cloud of fuzzles. Okay. French knots. All right, I think I will weave into the edge here, or into the backs of these stitches, and then we'll just go up the course here. I think we'll probably have just enough. I mean, it looks like we have a ton of floss for that, but the French knots just take a lot of floss. All right. Do it. So I like crossing over from one side of the dot to the other, so I'm never kind of going up through the middle. I'm going across. Oh, I think this is gonna be cute. This is gonna be like subtle and pretty. These are all, it's looking very earthy. Like for some reason, all these, sometimes these colors look super bright, but the way we did it, I think it's doing them all and they're all looking kind of pretty and earthy. I like it. Yeah, this is cute. I like this color. Ooh, and I still love the idea of quilting this so it looks like he's holding on to something with his tail. I might do some quick visual research on that. I like the idea of coral. Not quite sure how I would draw that yet, so I might, before we start quilting this guy, I might look up some seahorses grabbing onto things. See what they grab onto. Oh, Robin says I was making bone broth last week and thought of you, Alyssa. You started me on making it. I literally put beef bones in the fridge to thaw so I can make some bone broth. I was gonna do that today, but it got away from me. I'm gonna try and do bone broth and I haven't made it in ages, and I'm kind of in the like use up all the things mode. So I was just looking in the freezer this morning. I was cleaning up the kitchen a little this morning. I was looking in the freezer. I'm like, got the bones in here, and I got a whole pile of collected, you know, carrot tops and celery bits and all that frozen, and I'm out of stock. I'm out of all my soup stock, so I'm just like, dang, we gotta make some. So I might do 2 batches. I might do, or maybe I'll even do more. I think we have enough. But I'm gonna try and do it in the Instant Pot, which I haven't done before. So I'm just gonna put all that stuff in there, fill it up, and hit the broth button and see what happens. But yeah, and then I might do it a few times with, I'll put in different like veggies each time because I think I have a lot saved. I kind of want to just like use it up. But I want to do it where I have it for soup, and maybe I'll make some soup right away, and then I want to try doing like the whole bone broth thing in the fridge, like where you just heat it up and like drink it like tea sort of thing. I want to try that again. But that's hilarious. Yeah, I literally I must have we must have lasered thoughts to each other today. But yeah, I am that has been that's been on the brain today, and to the formation of a plan and even activating by putting the bones out. I probably don't need to actually thaw them, but I don't know. I figured it looked like there was a lot, like it was a big hunk of bone, so like wrapped up. So I'm thinking there might be more than one in there. So I figured, yeah, thaw it, it'll come apart easier. I want to do that with a chicken too, because we have a frozen chicken, and there's a way to do a straight frozen chicken, like just like completely frozen, like rock hard frozen, and put it directly into the Instant Pot and cook it too. So I want to do that. Oh, Cassie's asking, what do I do with the bone broth? Mostly just make soup. I just freeze them into like these cubes, and then I'll make a big batch of soup. So I'll definitely do that. And the soup, I just mean I chop up vegetables and put it in broth, and whatever else I got. If I have some hunks of meat or something, I'll put that in. It's kind of like refrigerator soup, but let's call it a beef soup of some sort this time. But I want to do it with I want to cook that chicken in the Instant Pot too. Give that a try. My mom's done it before, and she said that it just all kind of falls apart, which is perfect. Then you can take like the meat out, and that can go in a soup later, and then you still have the stock. So I don't know. I want to do a whole pile of stock cooking. But yeah, with bone broth though, you can actually like once it cools and you like scoop off the fat and stuff on the top, you can put it in the fridge. It'll kind of congeal, but I guess you can take it out and plop some into a cup and then just heat it up, and it'll get liquid again. And that's supposed to be like tons of great nutrients and all that, and it's supposed to be good for you, and be like a nice warm drink this time of year. I don't know if I can get my brain around that that I'm drinking bone broth like that, but I'm gonna give it a try maybe. But mostly it just goes into my soup right away, and I use it all up right away. Okay, so we got this feller done. That's pretty awesome. And we still have a half hour yet, you guys. This is great. So, all right, let's make some decisions on the letter S, which I have zero idea whatsoever how I want to do that yet. So, it'd be kind of awesome if we could finish it today, though, in the next half hour. So, what would allow us to accomplish that? We could just outline it, but we could outline it in, I don't know, a different stitch than like back stitch. We could do it in like a chain stitch, but there's so many curves and stuff that, well, we would just have to lock down the chain stitch on these. The rest would be fine. So that would be a big, bold outline. We could do a stem stitch, which I've been talking about lately, although there's a lot of curves, and stem stitch gets a little annoying around curves like that too. Ooh, Amy says I use bone broth to make rice sometimes. So that sounds like a fabulous way to use it. I have not done that before. That's a great idea. I guess we've done that with like chicken stock, but I haven't done that with like beef bone broth. I haven't made that in a while. Oh, you're gonna do it with a turkey. Awesome. You're canning. Oh, canning broth for soups. Oh, that's clever. That's a good idea. What is that circle? This guy here? Oh, it's a little reflective. That's my needle minder. I think Barbara, is that what you're asking about? My little penguin and fish needle minder. That's our little logo on there. He's shiny sometimes if he hits the light just right. All right. And what colors do we do? What color did I use for the knots? I used that celery color. I think it's a little subtle. I think we need to be something along this medium color, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we do the green. We had that dark green. Oh, except for we don't have any more on the. We'd have to start a new skein, which is fine. We have this. All right. How about this? I have kind of like this green, just because we used it here. I'm a little tempted to do a stem stitch, even though it's around all these curves. You can switch the stem stitch based on the curve, and we can go over that. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna do that just because I'm feeling it right now. I got this long piece of green, although that's not gonna take me to both letters. So maybe we got to do them different colors just based on what we have. But there's only 2 strands in here, but I'm gonna just do that anyway. Use the 2 strands because that's what I got of this green before having to start on a whole new skein. And the stem stitch, basically, it'll be like as if I did 4 strands next to each other because stem stitch kind of lays next to each other. And you see how twisty this is? I'm gonna separate these strands and then put them back together just because it'll get rid of that twist. And all my stitches will lay flatter and nicer. So there we be. Actually, why don't we add another color? That's what we've done for the rest of it. That's silly. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Should we add... Nothing's going to be as long as this green, though. That's the bummer. Oh, this blue is... Oh, well, that makes sense because we cut these both at the same time, I think. All right, let's do 1 strand of the blue. So it'll be kind of opposite of what we did here. It'll be 2 green and 1 blue instead of 1 blue and 2 green. Okay, I'm digging that. And it's already the same length because we did cut these together, so perfect. We'll have a bunch of long pieces. Well, that worked out decent. Ooh, yeah, time to use my brother's scented wax. Let's do that. Ooh, and we're still working on these, you guys. I'm actually talking to him again tonight. See what's this smell? Oh, this is that one that smells kind of like cookies. I want the pine smelling one. Let's see. This one. Oh yeah, this one smells like Christmas. And isn't that what everyone's putting up now already? Alder. Post Halloween. Getting ready for the holidays. Winter holidays. Yum! Smells so good. Okay. That's just some it's beeswax. It's like 100% like cosmetic grade beeswax with some scent in it. And I just very, very, very lightly put it on top. I'm not like digging into the wax. So it's gently coating the threads, which will help protect it from like all the friction of going through the fabric a zillion times. All right, I am gonna do an away knot for this one, though. I'm not gonna just let that little end dangle out because I think it's gonna get in my way. So this time we're gonna lock it in with an away knot. Woo! Sylvia says, hello, I was doing a stem stitch earlier. I'm now learning a coral stitch. Learning is good. Alyssa and the crew started me on this road. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome, Sylvia. I'm going to have to look up a coral stitch. It's so funny, like, you know, it's one of those things that if you don't do it all the time, I forget how they go and stuff, so I'll have to look that one up again. All right, I guess I'm starting at this corner here. I just kind of started. All right, so for a stem stitch, what I always like to try and remember is I want my thread to go in the same direction of whatever the arc is. So like we got like an arc going, you know, if I'm holding it this way, it's going downward and like a smiley. So I want my thread also in a smiley. The other direction is if, you know, like if it's going up around this way, then I'd want my thread above. So I want it below like this because it's mimicking that arc. So I'm gonna go almost like 2 back stitches away, and I'm gonna go, so I'm like almost like jumping 2 stitches forward, and then I'm going like 1 stitch back. So I'm just like halvesing that little bit. And again, I'm holding this down low. So I did the sewing method here, like in and out in the same motion, but you can do this with the stabbing method. I'll do that next. So this is gonna be our first stitch. There we go. And again, you know, I always check what's my arc, because you can change in the middle, but we're gonna stick to this underneath arc. So the stabbing method, this is where this was so confusing for me. Like it took me forever to learn a stem stitch because what I was doing is I was like stabbing all the way down because that's how I do it, like going here. And then I was coming back up, but I couldn't ever like get it underneath, like in the right spot. Like I had to move it around like that. So that's the hard way. I'll just finish that stitch. The easier way to do the stabbing method is, you know, again, to hold that arc. And what we're gonna do is just go through a little, just like that, and then come up. And I'm coming up in the same space, but you don't have to. You could come up a little further along the line. If you want the line a little thicker, you could come up a little above or below the line. But I'm going like right in the same spot. But yeah, so if I go down and then up before pulling it all the way through, then the stem stitch works great in the stabbing method. And I'm already really liking how this is looking. But I'm going to try and do the sewing method again because that's my preferred way of stem stitch. Or not, yeah, stem stitch. And I'm going to rotate this whole piece as I go because that's just going to be easier for me. I always like keeping it, well, especially if I'm doing the sewing method, I can only really go right to left. Oh, this is so cute. I just love the stem stitch because I'm still a little afraid of it. That's why I don't use it as often. I have like this ingrained like fear of it, even though now I know how to do it and it's fun and I like it. It is a little tricky going around corners and tight curves and that sort of thing, but I really like it because it's like that nice thick line and it just feels like super duper traditional. Okay, we're gonna do a little switch here though, because now after I'm kind of on a straightaway here, so I'm just staying in the same underneath position with my thread. But if you notice, we are now, all of a sudden this is above. So now I'm actually going to switch my thread and I'm going to have it above, like, see now it's like a letter N, so I'm going to have it above, mimicking that shape again. And we're going to just continue. So this one stitch will look a little funny, but no one's going to notice. And it's going to hold the curve a little bit better because you have this thread holding back that floss. It's going to look better as a stem stitch than if we would have kept underneath. Because see, instead of this just folding down like that, this thread is holding it up in place. We still have that above arc now. And on these tight curves, I am making my stitches a little smaller. I really hope we have enough thread to finish this letter S. All right, and I am just going to, nah, we'll do one more stitch. I was just gonna do like finish the stitch by going down here, but another way to finish a row is to do like basically one last stitch, so it'll end up being like a little half stitch here. So we're coming up and then going back down again. I think that's good for this small little area because this stitch is gonna hold up that last little bit. All right, and then I go right in there. So theoretically, I need to come back up in that same hole to start this next bit. But I can't do that because I just ended in that hole. So what I'm gonna do is flip it over. I'm just gonna go underneath one of these other stitches, like the second stitch from the end. And there, now I can go back in here. But look how it looks like a back stitch on the back. So that's what I was saying, like the back stitch almost looks like a stem stitch on the back, and it's the opposite for the stem stitch, which is kind of fun. So this is what a stem stitch does, though. It gets a little like bloopy like this, so I don't know, that's kind of the feel of it, though. I'm really liking this green with a little bit of blue. All right, so there we are. So just for this, I don't know. Gosh, I'm almost tempted to just make one big straight stitch, but we'll do. Well, I guess we'll go all the way over and come up. I think, yeah, I don't know, good enough. There, then back into that hole. Okay, now we gotta do the same thing. I guess we're gonna wrap all the way around back here. Okay, and now let's come back up, and now it's back to normal again. So the arc is underneath, so I'm going, or it's like a downward arc, so I'm gonna have my thread underneath, or downward as well, I mean. And same deal, let's get around the edge here. So we'll have to pick different colors for the small S, because I'll be out of these, theoretically. Unless I cut more, obviously, but that would require getting some new skeins out. All right, I think I'm gonna try and do this upright. So when I switch directions here, like when I flip this around, now I have this upward arc. So, ooh, this is gonna be funny. I'm gonna try and do this the stabbing method, which I'm not usually doing, so. Usually I just like keep turning my piece, but it's getting a little hard for my hand position. So we're gonna just do it this way, but this is working fine. I'm always mimicking that arc direction. All right, I feel like I went into full concentration mode there for a sec. All right, we're coming to this little baby curve. Man, I'm not sure we're gonna have enough floss for even this. So this is one of those stitches. I'm gonna try and make them a little bit bigger, but we're at the small curve, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. But this is one of those stitches that does use up a lot. If we run out like right here, I am just gonna do like one long stitch there, and I think that'll look fine. All right, so I'm gonna hold it this way again. Let's try and do it this way yet. My arc has changed directions though, so I'm gonna have my thread on this side. Coming back up. The arc is still this way now. Okay, this is getting annoying though. There. It's kind of like Cassie's like, wait, how is this different than a back stitch? It's kind of like, wait a sec, what did I do here? Oh yeah. It's very, very similar, especially if you see me like doing this stabbing method, like it almost looks like it. But it's almost like the back side of a back stitch. So a back stitch. Oh gosh, I can't even envision it. Oh, it's different right now. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going like 2 stitches forward, basically, like from where we came out. So like we came out right here, and I'm going like 2 stitch lengths worth forward before, and then we're coming back up 1 stitch length ahead. So that's kind of opposite of the back stitch. It's the underneath side of the back stitch, really. Because for a back stitch, you're going like the 1 stitch, um, you're coming up and then going 1 stitch back, but then you're going from the underneath, you're going 2 stitches over to get to the next stitch. So, you know, and then going 1 stitch back. So then again, underneath, you're going 2 stitches forward, basically, past your first stitch on top, and then another stitch length and coming up. So it's literally just the underside of a back stitch. Oh yeah, see now I'm almost did a little bit back stitchy thing there. Like here, like I'm coming, my thread came out here, and I'm not going 1 stitch, I'm going 2 stitches forward and 1 stitch back, which is the opposite of a back stitch. A back stitch, you go 1 stitch back, and then underneath you go 2 stitches forward. All right, there we go. Get that up, and you guys, we're gonna have such the exact right amount of thread. It's crazy. Oh, I gotta do that thing where actually where I go underneath, but actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just jump over here and do a stem stitch from this side and call it a day. There we go. Stick it in the hole there. All right. It's pretty. So stem stitch does get that like little loose feel. I'm sure people do it better than me and don't get that, but like I don't know, for me that's just kind of the look of it. But I think we did a pretty good job there. That's pretty cute. See on the back it looks like a back stitch. This one was always a confusing one for me, but it was mostly confusing on like I was like, how do people use stem stitch all the time? Because this is a really like traditionally common outlining stitch. Um, because it was so difficult for me to like move that thread out of the way to get back up, but it's because they weren't pulling it all the way through the whole time. So, or they're using like the sewing method, which you're not pulling all the way through. Anywho, all right, let's snip that away knot. Cassie, I do go, I know I didn't like dig into it too much here, but I do have on penguinandfish.com, if you do a search in, well, we have a whole stitch library, so in the menu there'll be a stitch library. You can watch a video of like the back stitch and then the video of the stem stitch, and I go in it in like I do it like slower and talk about how it's done. So then you might be able to see the difference a little bit more with like that side by side comparison. Oh, you guys, when we visited my parents, we went to an apple orchard and I got a couple bags of like Honeycrisp apples, and they're sitting on the counter, and it just smells so appley yummy in our kitchen here. I could have more than like, I mean, I would just eat those all day, but like that's way too many apples to have in a day. All right, we got this little S to do yet, but we're kind of running low on time, so I think we might just finish this S tomorrow. Why don't we choose what we're gonna do though for it? I mean, we still do have a lot of this blue, so we could stick to that. We have two. Wait. Oh, we have three of that blue. I mean, maybe I just get more green. Oh, wait, I do have, wait, what's going on here? Oh, is this what we just finished? No, it's not. This isn't enough to get us anywhere. Well, we could always open up another thing of green. Could do that, and then just do it the same. Might be fun to do it different though. But I mean, we've already like used the same colors that are in here. I don't want to like introduce a whole new color, I don't think. So yeah, I think why don't we just open a new piece here, and we'll do the little S in the same way as this big S, just some stem stitch and kind of call it a day, I think. So let's just open it up. Oh, you got Evercrisp apples and just made applesauce. That sounds yummy. I love the Honeycrisp as well. Evercrisp is a cross between Honeycrisp and Fuji. Oh, interesting. I haven't heard of that before. I'll have to try one. Once I run out of these buggers. All right, I'm gonna snip this as long as this blue. I know we're gonna have a ton extra, but that's fine. We'll use it in one of these later yet letters. So I'm just gonna prep this because it's getting late. So I'm just gonna get the strands that we need. Maybe get my away knot started here, and then we'll start stitching tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna do 2 strands of the green and 1 of the blue. Get the blue out, so it'll be the exact same mix as the first one, first letter S. 1. Whoops, hit the camera there. And stacking me. Okay. These 3 guys together. So this is even going to be like tighter and smaller curves for the stem stitch. So I don't know, maybe my stitches will be a little bit smaller, but we'll have plenty of floss for that, I think, because this is the same amount of floss as we used for the big one. And we had just enough for that. And there we go. All right, let's thread this end. Oh, good night, Amy. Ooh, you guys, I didn't mention tonight. We still have our live special, which is order $20, at least $20 in the shop, which is penguinandfish.com. And I will throw in a free mystery gift for ya. And if you haven't got the embroidery of the month yet, it is the Winter Panda. So subscriptions, if you subscribed, you're probably getting it tomorrow or the next day. They got sent out on Tuesday. I guess it's just Wednesday, so maybe by Friday. But yeah, so we'll be stitching this up not next week, but the week after. So there's time to get it before we start stitching yet, for sure. Little winter bear, winter panda. And we actually have, we just released 2 more little bears, winter bears, that match the winter panda. We have like a grizzly bear, he's in his little hunting gear, and then a koala that's all bundled up as well. All right, so I'm doing my away knot and coming up at the first stitch. And that's where I'm calling it. We're gonna stick it on the needle minder, and that's where we'll start tomorrow. We'll do this little S. And so since we're stitching tomorrow, I'll have all my stitching stuff out here. So maybe tomorrow what we'll do is finish this up, because that'll go quickly, and then maybe we'll take well, yeah, okay, so I will we'll just finish this. Let's back up. I'll finish this S, and then since we have just kind of stitching stuff out and not the sewing machine, maybe I'll stitch more on these, like, because we have all the backs. that we gotta like stitch down. Maybe we'll work on that tomorrow. And then Friday, I will clean up all of this and bring the sewing machine out, and we will quilt on Friday. So we'll get a little bit further on we'll finish this up tomorrow and get a little bit further on the assembling of the Quilt As You Go blocks together. That's some hand stitching. And Friday, we'll get the machine out, do some machine quilting, I think. Some free motion quilting. I think that's a good plan. Yeah. Yep. Because I don't want to stitch this with all the machine out here and everything. So, all right, you guys. Okay, so thank you all again. We're just like totally cruised on this guy. I think it's cool. I like the colors. They're just like more natural than what we've been doing lately, and it just feels good. I like it, especially for this little seahorse guy. And I'm really excited to quilt him, to have him holding onto something with his tail as well. That'll be fun. So thanks again. I will let the live special go for another like 15 minutes or so if you're checking things out in the shop, and I appreciate that very much. And thank you guys again. I will see you tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Have a lovely evening. Good night.